Everyone, it's Pink Crush 808 and I'm back. Okay, so remember, I'm following up from yesterday. So, yesterday I was sharing about this is Pink Crush 808 lip balm, which you can use for more than just your lips. You can use it to, moisturize your hands, and it has a lot of healing benefits. But anyway, getting back to the topic. So, I'm following up from what I was talking about. What we talked about, what I vented about yesterday, about that History 151 in the UH system, and also there was another thing that I wanted to kind of like circle back on, but after the update. So I called the school this morning, and apparently they were not aware of what she was teaching, but now they are. So now they are. So I mean, I didn't dragon lady her and bite her head off or anything like that. I haven't talked to the professor, but we will. We're gonna actually have a meeting, and I think I'm gonna hold off on the email that I was about to send to her today, because of the meeting. But I'm pretty sure I'll have a follow-up email, because it's always safe to have a follow-up email whenever you have a conversation with someone. So the department that she works with was not aware of what she was teaching. They knew the base of her curriculum, but they didn't know the materials that she was using until I shared it with them today. And then I also shared the cultural sensitivities and the fact that she's deviating from history and she's teaching about current events, and that those current events should not be in that class, that those current events belong in a political science class or a sociology class or a social science class, because it should not be in humanities and arts. And so we're gonna schedule a meeting. We're gonna have a follow-up. There's gonna be either she's gonna be able to justify her side, which I highly doubt, or she's gonna have to change it. And I don't think it would be very easy for her to justify the materials that she chose, which is all current events. So and I'm just not down with the whole propaganda. I mean, I've seen what happened with Harvard. I've seen what happened with Berkeley. I've seen what happened to those other universities, and I've seen how they protested against the Jewish students and anyone who was a Zionist. And you know what? The majority of the Christian community are Zionist. How can you believe in Jesus or Yeshua and not be a Zionist? How can you be an anti-Semitic and say, you love Jesus? Like, it just doesn't work. That's just not how it works. If you love Jesus, you love Jews. Jesus is a Jew. Jesus was a Jewish man who followed the Jewish traditions. He taught Jewish teachings. Everything that you learn as a Christian is Jewish, regardless if you accept it or not. And believe it or not, let me just dip into this. Believe it or not, even Islam took some, from my understanding. Now I don't know because I didn't read the Quran, but from those who I do know that do have read it, they too say that there are fragments of Judaism in there. So it was like a mixture of Christianity, Judaism, and other teachings. And there is no way that you can be a Christian and not be a Zionist. No way that you can be a Christian and be an anti-Semite. The word anti-Semite is even questionable in itself, because why is it anti-Semite and it automatically pertains? This is the discrimination I'm just going to point out. Why is it anti-Semite, and when they say anti-Semite, it automatically points to Israel and the Jewish people. But Semite means anyone from the Middle East. Semite means anyone from the Middle East. But yet when you say anti-Semitism is in reference to being against the Jewish community. See that whole discrimination? When you actually understand and you dig into the whys, the hows, and the definitions, then you see a broader discrimination and prejudice. They're in the Middle East, but when they talk about anti-Semitism, which a Semite is anyone from the Middle East, they automatically know that it's against the Jewish people. That's kind of fucked up. You know what I'm saying? You see the discrimination. But yeah, so that's the follow-up. I followed up from yesterday, and the outcome was they had no idea that she was talking about current events, and that whole week was focused on current events and not the history of that empire, because it's a History 151 class. And then when you think about it, and then I pointed out the fact that, you know, we have a lot of Asian students too. We have our Jewish students, we have our Asian students, and Islam was banned in practically all of Asia. All of Asia banned Islam. You know, so why is she talking about these current events? There's a reason why. It's not like nobody has that Islamophobia because it's not justified. There is a justification behind the Islamophobia. Okay, so maybe some people took it from 1 to 1,000 and started getting violent. See, that's where I guess, you know, they learn, because, you know, United States, we got laws. You know what I'm saying? But you cannot blame people for being Islamophobic, because there is justifications. You know, people who served in the military, their friends or people who had a family member that served in the military, or people who served in the military, or people who had friends, dear friends that served in the military, they see what happened to them when they came back from tours, or they understand, you know, how violent Islam can be. There's justifications to people's fear. But when you go and you gaslight people and you say you're Islamophobic and you're a bad person for having, you know, this phobia towards Islam, and they have a justification, like maybe they were part of 9/11 when the buildings came crashing down. Maybe they themselves took a tour and they were in the Middle East fighting. They've seen what can actually happen. Maybe they're from Israel and they know for a fact. Maybe they themselves was discriminated against by that religion. These people who have a fear of Islam and they have a justification should not be gaslit. You should not gaslight them. Nor should you silence them. Nor should you silence them. If they have a real reason, if they can justify why they have that fear towards Islam, it's a legitimate and a really good reason, which we have good reason, then I think it's inappropriate for anyone to gaslight them into submission so that they can continue their propaganda. You know, we all emphasize on, you know, toxic relationships, a narcissist, he's a narcissist, she's a narcissist, but we have one right before our eyes, and a lot of y'all are blind. These people who are getting all, you know, who's justifying Islam and, you know, teaching people that, you know, don't be Islamophobic, you're a bad person, blah, 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 you have to accept it, you should accept it, we're a loving people. But wait a minute, hold on. I seen what you could do. Maybe they were at the bombing at Boston. Maybe they were at the bombing. Maybe they were in New Orleans when some Islamists, radical Islamists, drove through a group of people, innocent people, killed them all. Maybe they were part of the Bandai Beach, where they shot innocent people and Jews for being Jewish. Maybe they were at the Chabad when some crazy ass Islamist tried to ram through the door. Maybe they were coming out of the synagogue after service while a bunch of radical fucking Free Palestine group were they're throwing shit and saying mean and nasty things to people that they don't even know. They have a justification to their fear of Islam. And I think that it is bad for people to gaslight them and downplay their fear. Like I said, we talk about this with abusive relationships. We have programs with against domestic violence issues, and we teach people about narcissism. But we have one of the biggest narcissists right in front of our face. You know what I'm saying? And nobody's saying shit. The ones that are saying something are being silenced. They're being silenced. It's an abusive relationship. It's an abusive relationship on a full scale. You say something and you have people coming against you. And it's like, you know what? For a person, for me, for a person who's been in community affairs, who's been a community leader, you know what, motherfucker, it ain't anything new for me. You know how many people tried to silence my ass because I was standing for my community? And I protected my community damn well, along with my colleagues. And this ain't gonna be anything different. So you can rev your fucking engines and make your big ass noise. That's nothing. That's nothing. It ain't gonna be nothing to me. Because I know how to navigate the system. And even if you know how to navigate the system, then let the best person win. It's just right is right and wrong is wrong. Right is right and wrong is wrong. Right is right and wrong is wrong. Any sneaky ass propaganda is wrong. To gaslight people into accepting something that they should fear. There's reason to fear. There's reason to fear. It's like a person. It's like a counselor. It's like a counselor. Two people in an abusive relationship, and when the victim goes to see the counselor keeps telling them, no, it's okay, just go back. It's okay, no, it's all in your mind. No, he's fine. He's a really good person, or she's a really good person. And though you still tell them, hey, this is what's happening, and he keeps telling me that I'm the crazy one, but he's doing these really bad things to me, and I'm the one that, like, he tells me that I'm wrong. And everybody else sees that he's wrong. But when the victim goes to the counselor is like, no, everything is fine. No, you don't have to be afraid. Just go back. You know what I'm saying? This is the same shit. It's the same shit. The protesting for people who are wrong, people get confused, and they think that, maybe they should be abused. And that's a bunch of bullshit crap. And the fact that people just stand by and watch is even more troublesome. If you stand by and watch and you just let it happen, you're just wrong. You might as well call yourself an accomplice. We have to stand up for what is right. We have to be with the voice for those who are oppressed. Yes, you can have some pushback, but at least you're going to make this world a better place. Right is right and wrong is wrong. And I want to circle back to something that I said yesterday. I talked about white supremacy. Now, when I talked about white supremacy, okay, and the white supremacists, you guys have to remember that through time and generation, definitions change, okay? I'm going to use the word savage. Savage, back before 1990s, perhaps 2000s. Before 2000s, the word savage meant, kind of like Neanderthal, like ruthless person. Today, What does savage mean? Savage mean that you're like some cool motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? That did something awesome. You know, you were talented or whatever. The word white supremacy and white supremacist has also morphed. So when I used it yesterday, it wasn't in reference to white supremacist as in Hitler. Okay, by God, I did not use it in that context. I didn't use it as in white supremacist as in the KKK. I'm using it as in the term that it has morphed into today. Today, when they say white supremacist, they're talking about anybody white. Anybody who has fair skin. The person can be a damn Latino or Latina, and that person's going to be considered white if they're fair. You know what I'm saying? They can be from Portugal, you're white. Spain, you're white. Britain, you're white. Mainstream America, you're white. That's what I'm talking about when I said white supremacist yesterday. Okay, that's the context that I was speaking in. But originally, a white supremacist was associated with Hitler, and that's not the term that I'm using when I talked about white supremacy yesterday. Okay, I was talking about the definition that is used for white supremacy today. And like I said, you know, definitions change through years, generations, and centuries. They change it. You know, there's that slang, and then there's that changing and redefining words. When I use the term white supremacist, I'm using it in regards to today's society, how they define it today in this present time, not back in the World War, not back then. Okay, so when I say white supremacist, yesterday when I said white supremacist, it had no association with Hitler. It had no association with the Nazi Germanys. It had an association to anyone who has white skin or considered to have white skin. That's the context that I was using it, because I don't want people to get the wrong idea. All right, when I say to me, I think, you know, the white supremacists, all right, I'm not talking about Hitler and the Nazis. I'm not talking about that. It was not in regards to that. By God, like everybody, if that was the case, and half a good, I think only like maybe 30% of the world would not even 30%, 10% of the world would be alive. The rest of the world is mixed. You know, they're mixed, or they're not going to fall in line with the Nazi white supremacy. You know what I'm saying? So when I said white supremacy, I wasn't talking about Nazis. I wasn't talking about Hitler. You know, I was talking about anyone who is a fair color, a shade of white, or considered white. I don't see how people are white. You know what I'm saying? I see fair, I see pale, I see kind of yellowish. I've not seen a really white person or a black person. I've seen different shades of brown, ranging to dark brown. Maybe I did see one black. Yeah. That was pretty dark. But or we call it paelle. But I've not seen a shade of white. I've not seen a shade of black. Maybe I did. Bro was kind of dark. But, I mean, like, this kind of dark. You know what I'm saying? But glowing. His skin was glowing. Wow. So, very glowy. So, I'm very cautious when I use colors for skin types. You know? I'm very cautious when I use colors for skin types, because most people, they refer to a person who is considered black as an African American. But for me, I know people who are considered black. To me, I say they have a shade of brown, a darker shade of brown, and they're not African. They're Latino. They're from the Caribbean. So I mean, you don't consider them black, African American black. They're Caribbean, you know, or they're from the Dominican Republic. Some of them even from Puerto Rico, you know. And I think it's kind of confusing when you get into that. And then I guess because of all of that, I'm a deep thinker, sometimes considered an overanalyzer. I do. But after a while, when I was thinking about all the cultural and the skin colors, I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna even look at people as black, white, red, whatever. I'm just gonna look at their attitude. And I'll judge you by your attitude, who you really are inside. You know, who you really are inside. And after that, you know, if I meet people, a lot of people from like Puerto Rico or a lot of people from Dominican Republic, then I can say, oh yeah, the more fair shade of brown, but they're Puerto Rico, and they're pretty chill. You know what I'm saying? That's how I would categorize people after a while, not so much by ethnic background. In Hawaii, we categorize by ethnic background, and we have our stereotypes and our labels, but not to the point where, you know, you want to kill somebody because of that, and not to the type where you kind of X them out because they're a certain religion. Yeah, it's not as intense. You know, I've seen racism before. Maybe I experienced it and I didn't know. Maybe I experienced it and I had no idea. You know, I think I experienced racism or labeling in another country. They thought I was a local from their country when I was a tourist, and I experienced how she treated me until she found out I was from Hawaii. And I was like, man, you treat your own people like that? You treat your own people like that? You know, that's not nice. I mean, you're not going to put superiority. You're going to be fair in the environment. Sometimes you have to bond with your fellow people because sometimes odds are against you. But that wasn't the way she treated me, because she thought I was I was a local there. I was like blown away. Whoa. No, I'm not. I had to take out my license and show her. And then she was like apologizing, and I was like, you know what? You shouldn't apologize to me. You should apologize to your own people for the way you fucking treat them. But yeah. Matter of fact, I walked out from her store and I went to the store next door. And I bought everything I was gonna buy from that store at the other store. But yeah, so I followed up with that, with the Islamophobia, that History 151 propaganda class, and it looks like the department had no idea what she was teaching, and now they got eyes on what she's teaching. And now they were wondering, what? Okay, so if it's a History 151 class, then why is she teaching? What is she teaching? They're like, oh, that's not aligning with the subject. I said, right. That's right? Like, it seems like a more, you know, that's something that you would teach in a political science class. You would teach that in a social science class, but not arts and humanities, not in history, you know? Not in history. That's not a history. You don't teach those topics, that, you know, that type of content in history. You stick to history. And so we're going to have a meeting. There's going to be a determination as to her curriculum, which I am not going to budge. I'm not going to budge. If they decide to leave it the way it is, then I'm going to go higher, because that's the type of person I am. I'm going to go higher. And I explained what the issues were and what the issues could possibly be, without discriminating against the religion, and without trying to alter the whole class. So teaching about the Islamic Empire, that's something that I guess is core, but the way she's teaching it is not. What she's teaching, the material she's using, is not. That's not part of the curriculum. That's not part of anything that she should be teaching. So that's the update. That's the update. That thing's gonna change. She's gonna have to teach history. not social sciences, not political science. And even if they were to add this into political science, even if they were to teach this subject and that use that material in sociology or social sciences, I'll tell you what, the students who are majors of those political science or sociology or psychology, any of those majors, they'll look at it and be like, you know what, you know, they will not, more than likely, they'll use critical analysis. What are you trying to get at? What are you trying to spin? What are you trying to move in me? You know, why are you talking about this? And most of us social science majors, we're like, we learn it, we know it, it doesn't pertain to our life, we know how to deal with it, we know how to look at it, deal with it at that point, at that time, and not retain it. It goes out the window because we got to learn about so many different cultures, and we have to learn about so many different perspectives, and we know, you know, it's not going to take the effect that it would on a student who has History 151. A student who has history has to take History 151, has to absorb that. The way they do it, they're not mature enough to analyze that whole, you know, that type of material and be like, you know, it doesn't pertain to me. Oh, it looks like it's heavily saturated with propaganda. Yeah. Unlike a political science major who's going to look at that and be like, propaganda. Sociology major, we're going to look at that and be like, interesting. I wonder how many people actually take this in. How many people actually believe this garbage? Psychology, they're just going to eat that shit up, man. You give that to a psychology major, they'll be like, well, that's not for me. You know, when you get into the majors that deal with things like that type of critical thinking, then it's different. You know, they won't digest that information as someone who is brand spanking new to the college courses and college thinking, and will just absorb that. You know, it's like that those who have to take that course would be considered like the kindergarten analyzers. You know what I'm saying? Primary education analyzers. Oh, you're just gonna absorb that, huh? Don't do it. Don't do that. You're gonna end up at a protest getting arrested. You know, propaganda, what can I say? They're trying really hard, expanding it all the way to Hawaii, where it's not needed. And how 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 ironic, it's a female. How the fucking hell do these guys get females to do their dirty work when that fucking religion shits on females? What is it? Gotta be money. Gotta be the money. Maybe it's not the money, it's the hope of getting that money. Ain't no women gonna get that unless she's the daughter of the sheikh. But anyways, I'm not saying that every person who practices Islam is evil. Okay, there are some Muslims out there who are not radicalized. Obviously, you know, you go to Dubai, they're pretty chill over there. You see the princes flying around the road, and they're chill. You know what I'm saying? You don't see them trying to attack any Jewish person or trying to attack any Asian, you know, skinny little woman. You know what I'm saying? You don't see any of that. But there are those that are radical Islamists. There are those that have propaganda, and they're pushing the propaganda, and they're trying to influence the masses. And you know, one day the masses are going to wake up and say, I don't want to do this. And then you know what's going to happen to you when you become part of that religion and you don't want to do it? It's not like Christianity where you say, oh, you know what, I don't think I'm going to go to church today, and I don't think I'm going to go to church for the rest of the year because you know what, I think I'm going to be atheist. It's not like that. That religion is not like that. The religion, Islamic religion, is not like that. I'm not saying that it's a bad religion. I'm just saying that maybe you should figure out or do some research about it prior to even advocating for it or even considering it, because I had a friend, she worked in the insurance business, and she was Muslim in a Caribbean island. And when she wanted to marry her Christian husband, they forced her. They told her, you have two choices. Well, actually three. So she had three choices. She had three choices. Three. He becomes a Muslim, or she can't marry him. Or four. She had four. Or the fourth was she would lose her family. She's no longer family to them. And the last was they would kill her. That was her four options. That was her four options. Islam. That was her four options. This friend of mine, we were co-workers. We were both into insurance, and those were her four options. When we were talking about it, she was sharing about it, and I was like, wow, man, must be a pretty lonely road, because the only person that she can actually rely on right now is her husband, and thank God her husband is pretty solid for her, you know. But those were her four options. Either her husband, who was Christian and he wasn't going to change, smart man, either he converts to Islam. 2, she can't marry him. 3, if she marries him, she loses her family. She has no family. They're going to disown her. And 4, they kill her. So it was one of those 4. She had those 4 options. And what she did was she ran away. She got married to him. And she's here in the States. It's safety. She's safe. She said she's safe. She said she would never go back because they would kill her. She said she doesn't have family anymore. And she said she would never change the choice that she made. She would, if she had to do it all over again, she said she would do it all over again. She still would marry her husband. But she's safe here in the United States. She's safe with him. Now, if England turns into a full-on Islamic state, where else are you guys gonna go? If you all become Islamist and then you guys realize one day, you wake up in the morning and you realize, I don't like this lifestyle. I don't want to be oppressed. I liked walking around with my dress, my cute dress. I liked walking around with my jeans. I liked having my face unveiled. I liked, what else happens? I like having a voice. I like advocating and being a community leader. I don't like cooking. I'm not good at it. You know what I'm good at it. But all these things, one day you may wake up, and if you do decide, or if Islam does take over Britain or Australia, which kind of looks like it's happening, then where are you going to flee when your whole community comes up against you? What laws are going to protect you? Sharia law doesn't protect you. The United States law does protect you. The laws that the British had protected them. But that's all changing because it's turning into Sharia law. Sharia law is not going to protect your women, and in some cases your men either. If the other man has more money than you, you're screwed. Even if you're raped, you're going to get stoned, you're going to die. I mean, these are things that you should consider. I'm not saying that there isn't any peaceful aspect of Islam. From the documentaries that I've seen, yeah, there's some peaceful aspects of it. There's some beauty to it. But there's also the flip side where it's scary. Where it's really scary. You know, and you don't know whose hands you're going to fall into. There's some really great things about it, but there's some really scary things about it too. Like slavery. Slavery comes back into play. But you know, the thing about it is, remember plantation days? Your slave driver was a white man? Or even a African American man, I don't know. But this time, your slave driver is not going to be any of them. It's going to be somebody else. And you're going to be dispensable. So I think this is something for people to consider, to really think about. The glitz and the glam is great, but hey, look at what you have. And that's why I think another thing is, God emphasizes to look at what you have and count your blessings every day. Because when you count your blessings, you realize that actually the struggle that you have is not so bad. It's not so bad. I was watching I watched a video of a female. She was crying about the hardships that she goes through, and most often when she's filming, she's happy, she's great, but behind it all, she's going through a very depressive time. She has eating disorders, she has addictions, and it weighs heavy on her, and you can see it. Sister's crying, it's weighing heavy on her. And there was something that she said that you can have a life while you're you can have a life again, or something like that, if you just address, if she addresses the eating disorder and she addresses the addiction, then after that she can have a life. But let me tell you something, you have a life right now. That's life. That's living life. That you're living life right now. You're actually living life right now. You're living life with those hardships, because hardships is part of life. You're living life. One day, after, the thing about hardships is when you're going through it, you don't know, and you don't see the blessings in those hardships. You don't see the blessings in the struggle. But once time passes, you'll look back at that struggle and you'll be like, it wasn't so bad. Matter of fact, I was actually more blessed then, because I was struggling, but I was drawing closer to either God, or I see the amount of love that I had by all the people who came and tried to help me, all the people who empathized with me. So you'll see your blessings a little later, but you're living life. You are. If you're struggling through life right now, don't say that. Try to see it as you are living life right now. You're living life right now. You might have struggles. You might be in pain. You might not see the blessings that you have, but you actually have a lot of blessings happening. There's a lot of miracles going on while you struggle. If you're a person who's struggling and people know that you're struggling, and you have friends and family around you, that's a blessing. If you have a platform and you're reaching out to other people and you're sharing with them your struggles, that's a blessing. Some people don't have that. Some people are silenced. They're silenced. I keep saying that. They're silenced. But you are not. That's a blessing. Some people don't have family to comfort them, but you do. That's a blessing. Some people don't have company and don't have family, and that could be a blessing too. That could be a blessing too, when you don't have people reaching out to you, because maybe your family and your friends are not in alignment with your spiritual path. What you have right now is good. You don't have to look beyond the fence to find something great, because everything that you have right now is perfect. It's perfect for you. And if you see your perfection in your life, living it won't be so bad. Trust me. What you have right now, despite all the hardships, despite all the challenges, it is good. It is good. You're going to see the blessing in it later on. You just have to remember and have faith that it will all be okay. Have faith that it'll all be okay, and hope. Dream, have a vision, hope. Keep hoping. Hoping will help you build your faith, because each time you hope and each time God answers, that faith will build and will continue to build. But I think out of all of it, your love for God, love and trust go hand in hand. So your trust for God and your love for God has to be strong. You have to have that trust for God. You have to try to build that. If there's anything that you should build that trust for God. And you'll see that each thing that you hope for, you're going to receive through faith. Through faith. And the more good things that you do in this world, the better. Like I've heard many times, be the light of this world. That didn't come from Gandhi. That came from God. That came from God. I hear that be the light in this world more often, many times in Judaism than I've ever had in my life. Many times in Judaism, from the beginning of my conversion up until now, I've heard that so many times, be the light in this world. And you know what? It resonates through me. And then I realized it did not come from Gandhi. Somebody said it came from Gandhi. It's like, no. No, never come from Gandhi. It came from God. It came from Judaism. That track. So, be the light in this world. It's not so bad. Whatever you're going through, focus on your trust. Develop a trust in God. How do you get to know God? Read. If you can't read, go onto YouTube. Click onto the chapters in the books and just listen. But when you develop that trust in God, what you hope for, you'll see come true. And with each miracle that happens, small or big, you begin to develop your faith. Your faith will grow greater. But your faith in God has to be at least here. No. Build on that. There's 4 things that God said he will always do for you. Okay, so bear this in mind. There's 4 things that he said he will always do for you. He will always be your peace. He will always be your protector. He will always be your provider. And he will always be your healer. And with these 4 things, that's all you need in life. That's all you need in life. And if you trust in God, then these things, the necessities of life, will be yours. And that's just going to be your baseline. And from there, he will build you up. But if you know his promises, these are his promises, his 4 promises, and these are the things you need in life. These are the basic necessities in life. Peace of mind, provisions, all the basic necessities in life. Your protection. He's protected me so many times from things that were supposed to crush me. And your healer. He's healed me in many ways through things that were supposed to break me. He said he will be these 4 things to you. These are the 4 things that you need. That's all you need in this life. And if you trust in him, he will fulfill them. But if you don't trust in him, like any relationship, if you don't trust him, why should, and they know you don't trust them, why then you think they're going to move for you? No, they're not going to move for you because you don't trust them. Why should they if you don't trust them? The biggest gift you can ever give anyone is trust and love. The greatest. And that's what God that's what God requires. You trust him. You trust him and you love him, and he will provide you these 4 things. And these 4 things are things that you need in life. It's generalized. These things break off into branches. These are the things that you need, though. Then you hope, you trust. Each time a miracle occurs, each time God fulfills his word, it builds your faith. And one day the world can be crashing down on you, and in your heart you'll be like, I seen God work. I'm not even worried. Oh, really? All these things are happening? I'm not even worried because I got a great God. I know my God. I know my God, and I love my God, and my God loves me. That's enough. Thank you. Some people use the term unfuckable, unfuckwithable, but it's called having great faith in God. And in this case, that's what we need. That's what you need. If you're going through a hard time in life, you're going through some hardships, hey, develop your faith in God and understand what are the four promises, which he has much more promises than just four. But those four necessities, he promises them to you. But you have to trust him. And in trusting him, you also have to be appreciative to the things that you have right now. If you don't have much, to other people, that's their problem, not yours. But if you have what you need, what else more do you need? If you have what you need, what else more do you want? You can have more things, but you got the basic necessities, and that's basically all you need. And that's what God promises. You don't have to have a lavish life. You don't have to be the happiest person. The happiest person, like I said, this road is a balance. You have to be both. You have to have both. It's a balanced road. But good and evil, it has to have a balance. If you're too good, you don't belong in this road. You're going to be taken out. If you're too evil, you don't belong in this road. You're going to be taken out. So it has to be a balance. Meaning also that there has to be good times and there has to be bad times. It's going to balance itself out. And in the bad times, you remember who your God is. You remember his promises. And in the good times, you rejoice. And you remember the people that were there for you in your bad times. And you remember that there's someone out there that was just like you. Someone out there that was in your same shoes. And what did you need when you were in that position? You have an opportunity to bless someone else and be an angel for them. So with that, okay, I followed up. We're gonna have a meeting, and I think she'll be teaching something a little bit more pertinent to her history, to the history that she's teaching. And what else was it? And that whole definition of white supremacy, it has nothing to do with Nazi Germany. Okay, like when I shared the term white supremacy yesterday, it was not in pertinence to Nazi Germany. Okay, it was in pertinence to it was defined. It was the new definition of white supremacy, and which is currently anyone who has fair skin. Yeah. Okay, so just wanted to circle back to that and get that out there, get that cleared and so that you guys have some clarity and understanding that it doesn't have anything to do with Nazi Germany, because we don't like that. Right? We don't like that. We don't like that Nazi Germany white supremacy definition, nor do we like that era. There's so many people died. So many innocent people died. We don't like that. It has nothing to do with that. All right. So with that, love, peace, and aloha. Check you guys later. Give you an update. Maybe on Sunday. Maybe in the middle of the week. See you when I see you.